hurt my feelings.
Wait, we have to go like this to sync the audio.
Ready?
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Liam Huser's YouTube channel, which I'm just a guest, but I appreciate coming back each and every time. Today we are reviewing another album on our list of 300 albums that are real good. And
Real good.
Real good.
Hypothetically, they're real good.
Yeah, we don't know all of them.
Allegedly.
There's one that I didn't like very much.
We know what that was. We know what that was.
And today we have another one that we're going to review that we listen to frequently in the past week or 2 weeks or however long it's been. In Rainbows by Radiohead is the album that we're reviewing today. And Liam, I also just want to thank you so much for having me back again.
Yeah, no.
And
thank you guys for coming back.
Your baby brother as well, CPH. CPH,
Yeah.
how we doing?
I'm doing all right today. A little tired, but
You're tired
I
every
guess
single time, man. You need to sleep more.
Why are you tired?
I wake up at 4 for work.
That's crazy, man. You gotta stop doing that.
I can't not.
Look, that's not my problem.
And it's not like I can't go to bed at like 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's just not happening.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. All right. Well, just because you're not a Sigma, but I get it. So anyway,
Sigmas don't go to bed at 7
speaking
o'clock.
of CPH, Radiohead, what do you know about Radiohead, CPH?
Not much. I know the name. Like I've heard of them. I could not name you many songs. Recognize some of the album covers. Just seen the artwork, I guess. I know the song "Creep." I know. What was that other one?
No surprises.
Yeah, that one.
Karma Police.
I don't think so. I listened to a snippet of it. I don't know. I just don't know much Radiohead. Not music I would usually listen to or grew up listening to. So, don't know much of it.
What type of music would you say they are?
Like alt rock.
Alt rock? Yeah.
I think I
guess.
would go as far to say to lump them in the progressive rock genre.
I think that's probably better because alt rock. I feel like we were talking about this on one of them. It's just like such a broad thing. It's just
Yeah, I
I feel
different
like
rock.
all
rock,
rock is different.
art
Literally,
rock.
the definition is alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah, art rock I think is a frequent thing that they've been called. But I know a lot of Radiohead. I would even go as far as say they're one of my favorite bands / artists.
What?
So
That's crazy.
yeah, I've
That's
heard this
wild.
album before, but not a ton, to be honest with you.
Had you ever listened to it all the way through before?
Yeah, probably like a couple times. And there was a reason why I didn't really listen to it after that, because I wasn't that thrilled about it. Like I had known, they're not one of those bands where like I know a ton of their stuff, but the stuff I liked a lot, and I would kind of just sporadically discover more of their stuff. And this one, I would even go as far as to say this might be their most critically acclaimed album, like now. Like maybe not of like in the past. In the past, it was OK Computer, and it was not even really close.
Yeah.
But now, like, I feel like the
Okay, I'll give it to
hipster
you.
culture has really taken to this album a lot.
All right.
And
I'll give you that one.
so yeah, I put it on and I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I like this, but I was like, I didn't really understand why it was held in such high regard as opposed to a lot of their other stuff, which I thought was more interesting at the time. Like, this isn't my final review of it. I'm just saying, at the time, I was like, all right, I like it.
Is there other stuff different in this album? Is it like, I'd say this album is fair mellow a lot of the time. Is there other stuff not like that?
So
or?
this album is, their early stuff, it's significantly different than then. So they're an interesting band because they definitely started off as like, a alt rock, Brit pop. Honestly, not too far off from a band like Oasis.
Okay.
And they kind of progressively turned into more of like, experimental, like almost like a Pink Floyd influence of sorts. Are you all right, Jack?
Yeah. I'm just what?
Well,
I was laughing
don't
because
know.
he was just death staring the camera.
Yeah,
That's why I was laughing.
I don't know.
I'm with you, man.
And then in the 2000s, they got really, really experimental and kind of became a darker, more electronic band, which I feel like there's a little bit of that on this album, but the album before this, Hail to the Thief, is really kind of dark, and it's a rock album, but it's definitely like darker, a little more like angry, political leaning.
Okay.
A lot of like synths, and I feel like this one kind of takes that and mixes it a little bit with their older stuff.
Okay.
Jack, what do you think about Radiohead, Heads of the Radio, Thom and the Boys?
So, so I had heard OK Computer before, I would say January of this year. I really had only heard OK Computer all the way through like once, and that was basically all I've heard of Radiohead. But then randomly I was like, oh, you know what's like who's a good band is Radiohead, and then I just started listening to a lot of them, and then we got this album on the wheel of albums in Rainbows, and I was very, very excited to, because I had heard basically every song on it, off of it, but I had never heard it all the way through. And I was excited to do it and see what I thought. But that being said, I do like Radiohead, I would say, a whole lot. They're a good little band. they know what they're doing, and they sound good doing it. So I'm excited to get into this album and see what what my two good friends on either side of me thought.
Now, would you describe these guys? You referred to Crosby, Stills, and Nash a few times as fuckers. Would you say these guys are fuckers?
No, I would say, because Crosby, Stills, and Nash, you hear a song like Marrakesh Express, and you're like, oh, you boys, come on, get out of here.
That's
you,
fair.
Yeah, you
Crazy kids.
You would call him a fucker. You could also call him a scamp. Like, get out of here, you little scamp. I would not call Radiohead little scamps. I would maybe, if I was like a teacher and I had a bunch of different bands as students, I would maybe keep Radiohead after class and ask them if everything's okay at home.
Refer to them as boys to the class.
Yeah.
Now,
I'd be like,
I would say
be nice to those boys. Be nice to those fellas.
of all my favorite bands, of the bunch, Radiohead is the ones that I would want to hang out with the least. I will say that. They just, I'm sure they're cool guys, but I mean, just look at the guitar player, Johnny Greenwood. You think I could have anything in common with him? No. That guy, he's a cat guy, I'm a dog guy,
Yeah. I've heard they are funny people, though. They're
We
on South
probably
Park.
both like coffee.
They're on South Park.
They were on South Park. That was
I didn't know that.
arguably
Yeah.
the best South Park episode ever.
Arguably the most, I would certainly say the most iconic.
Yeah. So
I'll
yeah,
have to watch that.
I'm just kidding around. I would hang out with these guys. They are British, so we have that difference from them.
Don't love that.
So Colin, this is
Yeah.
something, when I was thinking about this album, when I was listening to it, just because I heard, you have heard not a ton of their stuff before, but I have heard, honestly, most of their stuff. I was thinking, how does this sound in relation to their other albums? How would you describe how this sounds to you? How would you describe this sound?
I'd say kind of. I mean, I'd say there's a few different sounds with the album. It's mainly the same. One thing I noticed while listening to this album is if I'm not really paying attention to what song is on, they blend very well together. But it's still, a lot of it, I'd say, kind of methodical almost, with the piano or strings at times, but then maybe like a little frolicky.
Okay.
But then sometimes like upbeat rocking, like you're driving, you'd be like bobbing your head, but then the next song you might be like, oh, I could walk through like a sunflower field to this song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would agree. It is an interesting blend of like, it's very, almost like melancholy, maybe you describe it as. It's very light and floaty. One thing I did notice on this album compared to a lot of their other ones is like it does deal kind of with more like human themes, just not political or anything like that. Like a lot of it is like dealing about like with relationships and like how the character in the song or Thom Yorke is feeling. Like a lot of it, like he gets songs like House of Cards, All That I Need, 15 Steps. What else?
Weird Fishes.
Weird Fishes. Like a lot of these, like I don't really know if it's like necessarily I'd say it's like relationship oriented, but it definitely deals with like loneliness and
Yeah.
some stuff like that. So I
Common
think that
theme.
was different
Yeah.
for them. So, yeah, I mean,
Opposed to their normal stuff.
well,
you're
the album
saying
before this, Hail to the Thief, was like very much like political, like angry kind of album,
okay.
and
Angry at the government.
yeah, and then like even back to like Kid A, it dealt with more like you definitely had some like societal stuff. OK Computer, like a song like Karma Police is definitely like a more like layered kind of song, or like even like Paranoid Android. You just like dealing with like different people and different societal themes, whereas this one is kind of more like relatable, which I don't know if Jack agrees with that, but like from a lyrical standpoint, because I know you're a lyric guy, you like lyrics.
I like lyrics. And yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's a few songs that I was like, oh yeah, I can see myself as the main person in this song. Specifically, Jigsaw Falling Into Place. I like that one a lot
Good song.
lyrically and musically as well, but we'll get to that. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that that's something that they do pretty well on a few of their albums. Like I said, the only two I've heard all the way through is now In Rainbows and OK Computer, and both of them, I think they do a pretty good job of making good, relatable lyrics. So, yeah, I would agree with that.
Do you think Radiohead would? Do you think they supported Brexit?
Brexit?
Yeah.
That's a
Elaborate.
great question. You don't know what Brexit is?
No, I don't.
It's when Britain left the European
Oh.
Union.
Brexit. Okay, that makes sense.
What else would you confuse Brexit with? It's not a real word, brother.
Yeah,
British exit. It's
I have no idea if they would. They probably would. They
Brexit.
probably would. I have no idea. I don't know.
Who
man.
cares? I really cannot care about anything. I cannot care about anything
That is
less
the
than,
word, man,
than
that might
than
be the worst question I've
European
ever asked on this
politics.
show.
Yeah,
so
that's a good question.
European politics stopped mattering. I can tell you the day, July 4th, 1776. That's the day European.
That's
That's the day
facts.
Europe stopped mattering. Period.
That's
But
facts.
certainly their politics.
I only asked that because you said they have a lot of political themes in their music.
Yeah, so like I said, I've heard I think all their albums except for like maybe 2 or 3 of them. So I've heard this
How many
one
albums do they have?
probably around like 10 or so.
Okay.
So not a ton. And actually, what's interesting? I did think about this is their 7th album. This is like Doolittle. That was the Pixies' second sophomore effort. Crosby, Stills and Nash was their debut, even though they were in bands before that. But it was still like pretty early in their careers. This is like 15 years in their career.
Yeah, this
almost.
came out in 2007.
Yeah, this came out in 2007. Their first album was like 93, I think. So they were not a new band when this happened, and so it is kind of interesting how much like it's not like they were around for that long, but it is later in their career to have such like a huge impact. And I wouldn't say any of the thing they released since has made even like
Nah,
half
not
the
even
impact.
close.
Not even close. So yeah, why don't we get into the songs? So the first song is 15 Step.
I'll start it off. So when I first heard this song, I can't even tell you when, it was a while ago. But I did not like this song when I first heard it. I was like, this is weird. I don't get it. But then I don't know what happened. Even when I started my first listen in this go around, I was still like, it's really weird. It's a really weird sounding song. But something just changed. One of the listens, I was like, this is a pretty good song. I really don't mind it. I kind of like that they took like a really weird song and made it their first song on the album.
Yeah, I agree.
So immediately, like, you're like, man, all right, I don't know what the hell I'm getting into.
That's a good assessment.
Yeah. So
I know CPH was thinking that.
yeah. I like the lyrics a lot. I think that they lyrically they're pretty good. Or this album's good, but this song is pretty good. I think it gets better later in the album. I'll get to this a little bit later, but this is the start of what could have been, if you rearrange the songs a little bit, what could have been the best 3-run song fucking ever. Like, well, again, I'll get to it later, but this into Body Snatchers, and then if you were to replace Nude, if you flip Nude and Weird Fishes, that would have fucking been the best 3-song run I've ever heard. Still is very good, 4-song run, but yeah, I think it was a really cool, interesting way to start the album. Certainly not my favorite off of this album, but I think that speaks to how, spoiler alert, how much I like this album.
Before
Whoa.
Jack jumps the
How much
gun, we're
they're
gonna
not.
do the favorite and least favorite at the end.
Jack jumps the gun.
Jack jumps the gun. Yeah, unlike last video. Thank you, Jack. People were so pissed about that
I
too.
know. I still get letters.
So I guess I'll go next. I think I agree with Jack. I never disliked this song, but I was always kind of. I think it's not a great opener personally. It is and it isn't. I don't think it doesn't reflect the rest of the album very well. And to be fair,
Yeah, I
I do
agree
think
with
this album is actually relatively varied for a Radiohead album. It's probably there's a few different things going on here, but when I first heard it, I heard that drum machine. I'm like, okay, like I already know their album Kid A, so I'm like, have people who are in Rainbows just never heard Kid A? Because I was like, yeah, this just sounds like Kid A to me, which I love that album, and for a very long time that was my favorite Radiohead album. But when I heard this time around, I was like, okay, this is a little different. You do get a nice clean guitar, which for them being a rock band, the guitar wasn't like a huge focus on a few of their early 2000s albums. So this is definitely a good guitar album for them. Johnny Greenwood and Ed O'Brien and Tom York too. Sorry, Thom York. They're all pretty interesting guitar players that are able to texture things and play other instruments, but as this song builds more, the bass picks up. I really like it. There's some like weird like children like playing in a playground. Noises in the back. So this one like it takes a few listens, but I was like, okay, I like this a lot. I like the lyrics a lot. So I do like 15 Step, and I don't know how I feel about it. I am with you on the track list, but it's another thing that grew on me. So CP, do you like 15 Step?
I do like this song.
Wow, I'm a little surprised.
When this is the first time I've ever heard all of these songs, I'm pretty sure. First time I've ever listened to the album. When I was on my way home from our last recording, I put the album on. And I don't know if I just wasn't really paying attention to it, but I was kind of like on the same page as Jack and you guys. I was like, what the hell is this? Like,
I remember when that song played, you were literally like, "This is not Radiohead."
Yeah.
You said that. You're like, "This is not them."
Well, I didn't think what the hell is this personally because I already knew that they had this sound, but yeah, I do know what you mean.
I didn't know what to expect when listening to it at all, and it really was. I was like, "Huh, interesting." Did not expect this at all, but I actually really liked it. And the more I listened to the album, I think the more I like this song. I like the drum kit. Is that what you called it?
Drum machine, I guess.
Yeah.
With like the clapping. I thought it was cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
There's a cool version they did at the Grammys with a marching band.
Really?
Interesting.
And the drums sounded really good. With the marching band did the drums, it sounded really good.
But I like this song as an opener for this album. I think it's a fairly long song, right? It's like 4 or 5
You think
minutes.
everything is long?
No,
This new generation TikTok.
Yeah.
no, that's if a song, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying it's long. I'm not saying it's.
You
like,
just mean like.
I'm not saying it's like listening to Roundabout, like that's 7 or 8 minutes. But a 4 or 5 minute song isn't a short song, and a
No,
lot of
it's not
songs.
short.
A lot of songs are. I'd say most songs are around like 3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah.
But I like the song a lot. I thought it was cool. It was interesting, but not in a bad way at all. It was a good first song, I guess, to introduce me to Radiohead, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess this kind of was your introduction to the band, other
Yeah.
than like what you've heard in passing.
Creep and stuff.
Yeah, so Body Snatchers is the next song, and this one's kind of a rocker. This one is also another one where I'm like, after the first song where it's very electronic, it's still, an interesting, weird song, Body Snatchers, cool song title too, but man, that guitar riff, that's straight out of like,
Queens of the Stone Age.
Queens of the Stone Age. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah, so I was kind of surprised to hear them go for that sound on this album, but hey, I liked it. I think they pulled it off. The lyrics kind of, I can't fully grasp what this one's about, but the lyrics are good. Vocal performance is good. Tom York, very, very talented vocalist in my opinion. One of my favorite singers, probably.
You mean Thom?
Thom, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially from this era. He's really good at, he's got a good range, and he knows when to tone it back and kind of push it a little bit. I think on a song like Body Snatchers, the whole band is cooking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
oh
cooking.
baby.
They're cooking.
Oh,
So
baby.
I like Body Snatchers.
I feel the same way. I think it's a good song. It's rocking. It's I think it was a good follow up from what was the first song called?
15 step.
Yeah, 15 Step. I thought it was a good follow up. It was still kept that upbeat, but it was a different kind of upbeat. It wasn't like the techno kind of like different art rock, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was more just like it was rocking. It was good.
It's just kind of a rock song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was good.
Yeah.
I loved this fucking song. Oh my god, I played this song so much. I didn't necessarily even know it before listening to it. I probably had heard it once or twice, but I didn't really know it at all. And then the guitar tone this is one of my favorite guitar intros I've heard in a long time. I think the tone is really cool. It's really crunchy and gross. It makes you go ooh. I like the lyrics a lot. I had to look up what it meant because I just didn't know. And the general consensus seems to be that it's Tom York bitching and moaning about record labels
Okay.
and like wanting to own his music and stuff.
Does he hang out with Graham Nash at all? Did you see anything about that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But
I'm kidding.
but
I would not to cut you off. Tom York, don't ignore that comment.
also, I want to say something real quick that has nothing to do with that.
No.
I think the band name Radiohead is like a top 3 band name all time. I think it's a fucking dope band
It's
name.
a go one. I wouldn't go top 3.
Okay, top 3 might have been a little
Have you ever
dramatic.
heard of Ween?
Yeah, that's number 1. But I like that band name a lot. I don't know how they got it, but I just it's a cool name for a band.
If I were to guess, it's probably because when you are very interested in something, you might be referred to
As a head, a
Yeah.
sneakerhead,
yeah,
and they liked radios
or a deadhead.
or a deadhead. Yeah.
Or bedhead.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Body Snatchers now. Yeah, no, it was a very, very good song. Number 2 on the album, but on basically any other album, this would easily be number 1. But we'll get to my number 1 in a bit.
Well, we're gonna save that for the end.
We'll save it for the end.
Or save it for the end.
But
I think Liam already said that, but I think
Yeah.
that's
Oh, this guy likes to jump the gun.
yeah,
Jack jump. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Hey, great. It's a good song. We all are liking this so far.
Yeah.
So
I don't like it when you make fun of my name, Liam. I'm just kidding. I got a goofy name, man. It's all right.
yeah. Well, the next song is "Nude," which is probably one of the more popular songs on the album, and I feel like this is kind of what made this album popular. Is this sound, which I don't. It's kind of the dreamy, super indie rock. You can definitely hear where this type of stuff inspired a lot of bands still around today. I've been inspired by this really dreamy, mellow sound. Thom York's. Unlike Colin, Tom
Jesus
York's
fucking Christ, man.
his
Amateurs or anything.
vocals really good on this one with the falsetto. And
good vocabulary word.
yeah, well, that's what he's singing, like falsetto, you know, that high pitched voice. But yeah, and I think it's kind of about maybe just feeling exposed a little bit. That's kind of what I gathered from it. A lot of these songs, they're not like stories. A lot of it are kind of vague, which
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
More like a
to be
topic.
honest. Yeah, and I like this song a whole lot. See, I disagree with Jack. I think this is perfect set for a third song. And, like I don't need to be beaten over the head anymore. Like it's not a metal album. I don't want that from
Yeah.
Radiohead, So I like Nude a lot. I knew this song beforehand. Well, I knew the whole album beforehand, but this one in particular. Can you just freaking stop, man?
You just pissed me off.
All right, then let's hear what you got to say, Jack.
It was a good song. It was good. I mean, they're decent songwriters. They're no, I'm kidding. It was a good song. I liked it. Definitely sandwiched in between two songs that I like more. I'm jumping the gun again, Lee. I'm sorry, but I think that this is kind of the sound of the album. This kind of sets the precedent for what the rest of the album's gonna sound like, with some exceptions. But yeah, I think like CPH said, it kind of, if you're not looking at what song it is, a lot of it can blend together. A lot of the album can kind of blend together, and this is the start of that. Like, you're not really gonna confuse 15 Step or Body Snatchers with any of their other album. But you could confuse this with some of the other songs, like towards the middle of the album. But that being said, I like the sound a lot, so I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. I like this song a lot. I think I'm with Liam though. I like the placement of this song in the album. I think it better encompasses the album as a whole. And again, like Liam said, it wouldn't make sense for how this album sounds as a whole for it to go rockin', rockin', rockin'.
I'm just saying, if they did it, it would be fucking dope.
You're wrong.
It would
Anyway,
be fucking sick.
I agree with Colin on
this
I hate
was,
the users. I hate them.
This was you need to leave.
I hate them.
This was my first, I guess, Radiohead song I heard that was this sound, which you make it sound like this is more their sound, I guess.
Well, I would say of this album.
Okay. Well, anywho,
Yeah, I'd say this album.
but yeah, I'd say it was a good introduction. I like Tom's voice a lot. I like the guitar. I just like the song as a whole.
Yeah. So the next song, Weird Fishes / Arpeggi.
Arpeggi.
Yeah, I don't know.
Arpeggi.
I don't even know why that word's thrown in there.
Yeah. Well, I
Maybe
guess
look
that's
up
the
what that
second
word
half.
means.
No, I did not.
I didn't either.
Yeah, but no, this is, yeah, I like this song a whole lot. I mean, this is a masterclass in building a rock song, I guess you'd call it. The whole Weird Fishes part, interesting name for a song, interesting lyrics for sure. And then at the end of that song, that switch up is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the nastiest switch up. Like every time I listen to that song in my car, I just turned it off at that part every single time. Just such a cool way to end a song. And another really good vocal performance, cool guitar riffs, cool guitar interplay. I like this song a lot.
I'm on the same page as you. Seems like pretty common theme here now. I like this song. I think it was cool. I think it sounded very well. I feel when I listen to this album, a lot of times when I listen to an album, I'm not listening to it for the intent of reviewing each song individually. And I fell into that a lot with this album when I was my first few times listening to it, because I would just have it on in the background of either driving, doing whatever I'm doing, and I would look at my phone when I'd realize it was a new song, and it'd be in the middle of the song, and I would just be like, oh, okay, I got to remember this.
Yeah.
But the more I listen to it, the more I think they individually stand out, and I think this song was really good. It was a really cool song. One of the songs that I remember the lyrics more. I'm not sure why. Maybe because they're strange. Weird Fishes is kind of an odd topic, I
Maybe
guess.
it's more of a
Odd
British
topic.
thing. Maybe that's something we talk about a lot over
Weird
across
Fishes.
the pond.
This song, I liked it a lot. It was a good song.
I liked it too. I think it was really cool. It was really it sounded really weird, but in a really good way.
Yeah.
Something about this album that I kind of enjoyed and appreciated a lot is there's a lot of really small things that kind of make the songs really good, and that is apparent in this song, especially with the drums. He's doing a lot. What's his name? The bald old guy?
Phil something.
Phil something.
Phil Lynott.
No, not
No,
Phil.
no. He's bald, and that's cool, man. But he killed it on this album. But this song specifically, I think he was doing a lot of really cool, like, little things that that aren't even necessarily like unheard of before, but like a lot of like really cool like ghost notes and like little like paradiddles and stuff on the hi-hat
I don't know what that means.
It's not technically the right word at all, but I guess sticking would be the better word. A lot of different on that. Sorry, Jesus Christ! I totally just lost my train of thought. You guys shrugged your shoulders at the same time and you just threw me for a loop. I don't know what to do. The drums sounded cool on this song. The bass also really sounded cool when it came into do 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 do. I like that part a lot. I think his Tom York's vocals throughout this album are pretty good, pretty consistently. This song, he had very good vocals on. I also wanted to say that on Body Snatchers, but I forgot, so good vocals on Body Snatchers too. But yeah, the lyrics were really interesting on this song as well. Yeah, so I liked it overall. So far, this album is very good.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I was about to say that too about the drums. Great, it is a great drum track. And by the way, what do you quit that?
It was supposed to be just for you and me because the camera couldn't see it. But
Okay, whatever. Well, it didn't bother me. So yeah, I think as a band, they're a little slept on as far as musicianship goes.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
And it took me until they have like a live video where they play a lot of this album all the way through, and they're kind of just playing it in the studio. But that made me realize like there's a lot going on in their songs, and it's almost kind of gimmicky the way they do it live. But like you'll have like bro will be on the guitar, and then he'll go play keyboard for a little bit, and then he'll like just press some buttons on the floor. Like they're completely everything is live. I can't say if that's how they recorded it, even though from what I understand, this was mostly live. This album, but they're like, yeah, Johnny Greenwood is a pretty interesting guitarist. Both
You said he does piano too?
Yeah, like Johnny Greenwood, he plays a lot of things, and Ed O'Brien, the other guitar player, he like on 15 Step, he's like playing a sampler, like just a bunch of weird stuff. Tom York, all of them. Colin Greenwood, really slept on bass player. The rhythm section's pretty slept on.
The bass on this album is fucking insane.
Yeah, he's a really
the
good
bass.
bassist.
There's some bass lines that I'm like, God damn, this guy's getting it right now.
And that's one of them, Weird Fishes.
Oh
So
yeah.
all I need, I like this song a lot. I kind of want more of this from Radiohead. Like, this is more my style. Just like a really like simple, like it's a simple song in meaning and in performance, but it's executed so damn good. It's another thing. Like Weird Fishes is super hectic, and this just really another example of why I like this track listing a lot. It just kind of it really. This is it's mellow, but there's also like kind of somber. This song, there's like a synth bass going on, and that's a nice touch. When the piano really builds up at the end, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I like this song a lot.
CPH.
Go ahead.
All right.
We can go out of order. Doesn't matter.
I didn't. I mean, I like this song, but I didn't like it as much as the first four. Certainly in the first half, I thought it was kind of like, I don't know, just a little like simplistic, and which is fine. But I think if you're gonna, I was at a point after the previous song, Weird Fishes, where I was still kind of like wanting to go and wanting to like, party a little bit. But then this song kind of brought it down for me a little bit, and not necessarily the way that I wanted it to. I did like the ending, the second half. I think it kind of like built up. The piano sounds really good in the second half. Kind of takes a lead in the song. But overall, I kind of didn't really. I like this song. I don't want to say I didn't like it, but I think the bar was set so high in the first four songs that it just didn't meet my expectations that were set.
Interesting. Wrong. Anyway.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Your opinion can't actually be wrong because it's an opinion.
I got roasted by CPH.
I like this song a lot. I like so far throughout the album the kind of back and forth between the rockin' or chaotic to then the more slow, calm, kind of like you're just floating like a cloud.
Yeah, floating like a bug on a log,
Yeah. I think this is one of my more favoriter songs on the album. Could be my
horrible
favorite.
grammar.
No, I meant to say that. This is one of my top songs on the album. Could be my favorite. Who knows? I won't say yet because I'm not supposed to.
I said what my second favorite one was.
Anyway, but I like the song a lot. I like how
You can keep going. I'm turning my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Wow.
is it gonna keep recording?
Should.
Jesus Christ, Liam. This is
Or
gross,
airplane
If it
mode,
didn't, it
maybe.
wouldn't be a big deal.
This is gross. This was amateur.
Yeah,
shit.
I'm so sorry,
You
guys.
better edit
And
this
you know,
out.
I'm not gonna edit this out either because we don't edit. This is raw, guys.
Is it still
Okay.
recording?
It's still recording.
Does it say? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wrap it up with this song. I liked it a lot. It was good. I like it just sounded good. I like the piano in
It
it.
sounded good. Very introspective.
It did. It just
Okay.
sounded. It sounded. It's a well put together song.
Yeah, I agree. That's why Jack's wrong. So the next song, Faust Arp, maybe.
Sure.
I have no clue. Every time I see this, I would just think, "What's this song called?"
So I'll be brief on this one because that song is brief. I don't dislike it. It is. I don't want to say it can be left off because I think it is kind of like, oh, it's like a little break. I feel like there's probably some meaning for it. It kind of sounds like Elliott Smith to me a little bit.
I don't know who that is.
Jack might be able to verify if he agrees with that or not. And
Yeah,
not
sure,
like
I'll give it to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like acoustic.
I didn't think that, but I'll agree with it.
Yeah, just a little acoustic. It's kind of an acoustic ditty, I would say. An acoustic
Acoustic
little
what?
ditty. Diddy? No.
Whoa.
I like Diddy Kong, not like the other
Whoa,
Diddy.
Like
whoa.
Puff Daddy.
No.
Okay.
Like
Whoa.
Ditty, little ditty. A little short little number. It's cool, different kind of vocals from him, but it's all right, you know. So it's all right.
CPH? I went first last time.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you, Liam, with this song. I agree. I don't think it should have been left off, but it's just I would say the most forgettable song because it's short, it's simple, it just kind of passes by when I'm listening to it. I don't really notice it all that much. It's still a good song. I think it sounds good. I think this album as a whole just is a very good sound. I've never heard Radiohead before, really, and they, like you guys are saying, they're just very good musicians. Every song up until this point, who knows on my opinions later, but it just sounds so well put together. Every component of the song,
Yeah.
or of all the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the part of the album where I was talking about earlier that kind of blends. It kind of blends in together on itself, and I don't think that that's inherently a bad thing. Like when I think of albums that do that, I mean, Dark Side of the Moon kind of literally did that with blending every song into, one another, and that's one of my favorite albums ever. But I think it's very hard to nail it, and I'm not saying this album didn't, but I'm saying, my favorite songs are the ones that I'm like, oh, there's no mistaking this song for another one, and you can very easily mistake Faust Arp for a few other songs on this album. So, it's not necessarily my favorite, but I'm not mad at it.
I agree that this is kind of the forgettable part of the album. The next song, Reckoner, I think is one of the weirder songs on this one. This has a vibe that's really unlike any other song in their discography, I would even say. It starts with this like percussion, almost this high trebly percussion that is cool, and then they're almost building on a loop on this one. Not too dissimilar to 15 Step in that sense, but they turn into more of a mellow, not too dissimilar from something like Nude, but a little bit different emotionally on Reckoner. And I did like this one. This one did grow on me after a bit. I never disliked it, but I always thought this one was, Faust Arp. I was like, oh, this is the 2-minute one. I kind of felt like this was the forgettable one.
Mm-hmm.
But it did grow on me a lot, and the lyrics are solid, and his vocals are very good on this. He's one of the kings of doing falsetto. I almost think that he, like, Matt Bellamy wishes he could sound like this.
Yeah.
Right here. Like,
I would laugh if I knew who that was.
he's the guy from
Muse.
From Muse. But a lot
I
of
don't
people,
know
when they
that.
do the falsetto thing, it's really cheesy and, like, not natural, but Tom York does it every time he does it well. So.
Matt Bellamy, his falsetto really sounds like, okay, this is like a shtick.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like it.
I
at
don't
points.
dislike it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I also agree that the vocals on this album I think stood out to me a lot. Maybe not a lot, but they stood out to me as like, okay, these are really good. Like that. I was thinking on the way over here, I was listening to this album, and Reckoner came on, and there was a few different points at this album that I thought this, but really on this song, I was like, you don't necessarily need to say that Tom York is a good singer. I think he is, but you don't need necessarily to say that Tom York is a good singer. But I think it's almost impossible to say that anybody else would have sounded as good in Radiohead as Tom York singing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to cut you off there. I would say this: I think Tom York is a great singer.
I do too.
I think
I'm not saying he's not.
I think he's actually kind of slept on.
I agree.
And I don't even think this album has his better vocal performances.
I would probably
Really?
agree with
Yeah.
that. I mean, I don't
They're
really
all
know
very
too much
good,
Radiohead, but
you know.
like, I can what I meant is like I can understand if somebody said, "Oh, I don't think Tom York is that good of a singer. Like he's not for me." I can understand where they're coming from.
I can see how it might be acquired to an extent.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that.
I just don't think he's very technically probably a good singer. I mean, I don't know shit about technical singing, but like,
you can tell.
wow, that really hurt my feelings. But like you hear like Freddie Mercury or something, you're like, okay, that's technically like that guy knows how to sing, obviously. And I don't think that like necessarily Tom York is that way, but I still think that he sounds very, very good. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't fucking.
I
again,
can
I don't know.
I can verify that I would consider him to be like a technical singer.
All right, well, see, I was wrong.
Well, singing is different than like drums and guitar. Like it's kind of weird, but I would say like from like a perspective of like control and range, yeah, he's pretty.
Yeah,
solid.
I'd agree with you, Liam. I think comparing him to someone like Freddie Mercury is they're both, I'd say, extremely
one thing
good
they do
technical
have in
singers,
common
but
is they
just-
both have a lot of control.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I think that's one of the main components, I guess, of making a good singer, in my opinion. It's just they have completely different sounds.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't compare to Freddie Mercury. I didn't compare him.
To be fair, Jack was not saying.
No,
he was
I'm
just
pretty
saying
sure
that
Jack whispered to me and said Freddie Mercury's way better.
I did say that.
they're both British. But
They're both
anyways,
British.
well,
Don't like that. Don't like that.
Yeah,
There's a
Reckoner.
good singer is Elaine Staley. Good old American.
Yeah, he's a good singer too.
Kurt
What band is he
Cobain.
in?
Bruce Springsteen.
Just
American.
I don't know. if
You hear
Bruce
them, you wonder how
Springsteen's
goddamn-
a
I'm not.
great-
We could get into this
The joke
rabbit
was
hole.
they all were American.
We could get into this rabbit
Who was the
hole.
first guy?
Alice in Chains.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite singers of all time, though. No joke.
Great singer too.
All right, we're getting off track here, boys. Reckoner. I enjoyed it, but still we're in that that area of the album where it's like, okay, what song is it?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing, but I still like it. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Go ahead, CPH.
I'm on the exact same page. I like this song, but it's not. It sounds good in the album,
Yeah.
but
Let's
it's
go ahead and put it, CPH. Good job. High five.
It's not the kind of song where I'm like, let me put this on.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm not looking at Reckoner.
But listening to the album through the set list, it sounds very good and it fits very good. And I think that's similar to the last song. I don't even remember how to say it.
Faust Arp.
Yeah.
I feel like Fast Star was almost like, okay, we need a break from like 5 straight bangers.
Yeah.
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 There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and like to me, like I don't even care like if every song on an album is perfect. I'm looking for that vibe, you know.
Yeah, this album has a good vibe.
And this
What was
album
the
has a good
song on the
vibe.
album with the strings? It had like a violin or something.
All That I Need, maybe.
I don't
Okay,
think
so-
so.
Strings.
Jigsaw Falling in Place, maybe.
We haven't gotten
But
to that one.
we haven't gotten to that
We'll
one,
get
but
there.
the next one, House of Cards. Why don't you start off with this one, Jack?
So I like this song, but this is kind of the ending, in my opinion, of the we're still in the same sound. What song are we on? I think of those songs, so where we're All I Need, Faust Arp, Reckoner, and House of Cards. I think of those songs, this is probably my favorite of the like middle of the album. But still, it's not gonna reach that upper, A or S tier of In Rainbow's songs for me. But it's gonna be damn close. I liked, again, the singing was the vocals were really good. Lyrically, it was. It was okay. I don't necessarily remember too many of the lyrics from this one, to be completely
Yeah, me neither.
honest. But yeah, I liked it. But it didn't really reach that upper echelon for me.
I'm in the same spot as you. I like this middle chunk of the album where it kind of blends. It's all more mellow, frolicky. Falsetto, is that what you were saying?
Mhm.
Well, that's the
Real high singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the song as like an individual. It's a good song. I'd listen to it again. But it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to put on. But like I've been saying, in the album, I think it sounds great.
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you because I love this song, and this is something that I put on to listen to multiple times, like outside the album. It just got stuck in my damn head, and at first I was kind of like, eh. But I really like the House of Cards chorus. I don't know, it's just a cool way to, just a cool thing to say in a Radiohead song, I guess. And the guitar, I was not expecting this sound from Radiohead. This is really poppy. And they're not as weird as people probably make him out to be in like the broad scheme of
Radiohead?
yeah.
As people or like as a band?
Like as a band, like in the broad scheme, they're definitely experimental, but I don't like this album. Wouldn't say they ever go out on like the deep end completely.
Yeah, as someone who's not ever listened to Radiohead, I wouldn't say this is anything crazy.
Yeah, it's nothing like crazy, but they are a weird band. But this song is like really mellow.
If you think this album's weird, listen to the first two Ween albums.
Oh God, actually,
Yeah.
don't listen to the first two Ween
Yeah.
albums.
Yeah. My God, bro.
Yeah, like I feel like Radiohead is the band where like it's like you show Radiohead to people that if this is too much for them, then you don't show that other weird stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this song a lot. I like this. I want more of this from Radiohead. Honestly, like I want this and All I Need and stuff like that. Like I like the introspective, like human kind of stuff from them. I still like the crazy stuff like Weird Fishes and the next song.
Yeah,
Jigsaw
let's
Falling into
just
Place.
shut the fuck up and talk about Jigsaw falling into place, please, already. Fucking, oh my God. If I could sell my soul and give it to a song, it would be goddamn Jigsaw falling into place.
Would you let this song impregnate you?
I would let this song impregnate me. I'd have its baby, and then I'd let it do it again. I fucking loved this song. You know what? Fuck both of you. This song is gonna be in rotation when somebody asks me what is your favorite song of all time. This song is gonna be in rotation for that song.
Wow.
I said it. I said earlier, Body Snatchers is my second favorite song on this album. Liam, please tell them what my favorite song on this album is.
Jigsaw Falling into Place seems like.
CPH, please tell them what my favorite song on this album is.
Jigsaw falling into place?
I fucking love this song. There's a video on YouTube that's the ending of this song repeated for 13 minutes, and I would listen to that song multiple times. This song does not get old to me. There's many songs that are overplayed. This song cannot be overplayed to me, and I refuse anybody who says this is a bad song. Come to me right now. I'll punch you in the mouth, and then we'll have a civil discussion about it.
Are you just saying that, or
No.
or are there people that like don't like this song?
I don't
I'm sure
know.
there
I mean,
are.
probably is somebody who exists
Yeah.
that doesn't like this song.
Yeah, piggybacking off Jack, I like this song a lot too. I knew this song pretty well before this album. This song is kind of a rocker. This is another kind of a rocker.
You're goddamn right.
Like,
it is.
this is like, it's got a, first of all, the acoustic guitar riff is a nice touch. Great bass song. Another great vocal
Oh, I forgot to
performance.
say that. Liam, I'm sorry I gotta say that one more time. The bass line of the song is absolutely fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Colin Greenwood, I don't understand how he doesn't get brought up more with like great basses.
This is a good example, I think, of a song where the bass is driving it and you don't even necessarily know it.
No, yeah, you're
I
right.
agree
Colin
with that.
Greenwood, such a slept-on bass player. Great bass song. The ending, I don't know if I put it on a 13-minute loop, but I don't know. If, yeah, that you know what? Never mind. Anyway, yeah, it's a great song, and it's kind of just about having a good time being out at the pub with the boys, which is totally not something I would expect Radiohead to do at all. I would expect them to go home and like cry and be virgins or something like that, but
Nothing wrong with that. if
nothing
that's-
wrong with
if
that.
that's
But
what you get up to.
they don't strike me as partying with the boy type guys, and that's kind of what this song is about.
It's probably like a nerd bar.
Yeah, it probably is like a nerd bar. But hey, girls do like Radiohead, so girls like this album, which is a little bit surprising when you think about it. But they do have some pretty cool stuff. No, I like Jigsaw falling into place. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like the song a lot too. I like. I think it's great placement because there's a stretch of like 4 songs that it's fairly mellow,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then this one's definitely a rocker.
Comes and smacks you in the face.
Yeah, it does. I don't really have much to say. I like the song a lot. It's good. It's just it fits so well. One of my favorite things about this album is I feel like, and this is a big consideration for me when rating an album, is listening to it through the track list in order, and it's
I
just
agree.
I think
Yeah, I agree with
everything falls into place so well.
Like
in
a
this
jigsaw.
album. Yeah.
Oh my God, Liam.
Dab me up.
Also, I will say one more thing about this song. Liam, I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with you about what I think the meaning of the song is. Again, I had to look it up, but this was before we even did this, so I looked it up a while ago. When I said I first started listening to Radiohead this year, I listened to this song a lot.
Was it
But
because of this song?
yeah, pretty much. It was weird. I just like this song came on my shuffle, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot how much of a banger this
Everyone
song is.
likes this song.
And then I just listened to it nonstop. But what the song, at least the YouTube video that I watched, says it's about is you're out, with your boys at the bar, and you and the boys are picking up chicks, and you
This
tell,
is shocking from a Radiohead song.
and
I thought these guys were creeps and weirdos.
and you pick up chicks, and maybe you're even successful because you're in a famous rock band, but at the end of the day, it's not really what you want. What you want,
makes sense.
What you want is just to be held throughout the night, by your one true love.
Yep, that checks out.
And
That checks out from Radiohead.
yeah, and I was just like, God damn. I think nowadays,
Do you relate to that?
I mean, maybe maybe not picking them up successfully, but yeah, a little bit. I don't think I go out to the bars with my boys, but you know what? A lot of people do nowadays that could be relatable to that. CPH and Liam Huser,
I have no idea.
dating apps, motherfucker. All these people are on their dating apps, swiping left and right on Hinge, saying like, that you're really just, wanting to. This is what you're thinking when you're on those apps. I should call her. I should call her.
That's a good point.
And you know what? Jigsaw falling into place. That's a song about that, and that gives a round of applause.
Yeah, that's
CPH, please.
he's not in the round of applause side. All right, Videotape is a good song. It's a good enough song. It's not fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a
Last
good
song, right?
good album closer. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good album.
I do. The interesting touch is, the drum machine that's completely off time that makes you like look out your window and be like, "Oh, what's that?" And then you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I listened to the song." This is a nice song. Very good lyrics. Cute little piano ballad to close it. I will say after this, I was like, "Oh, damn, the album's over."
Yeah,
Damn,
I agree.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, 2007 album under like an hour and a half." I'm like, "Damn, that's
Yeah.
impressive."
I agree with
Which
that.
is something I like about this album is that it is like the perfect length.
I agree completely. I like this album as a closer a lot. I think it ending it on a rocker, I think would kind of seem out of place for this album in my opinion. It started more rockin', and I like the fact that they toned
More
it
rockin'?
down, brought it up.
Fish?
I like the fact that they were rocking, they toned it down, would bring it up, and then they ended it with a mellow song.
Yeah, I think I completely understand why they ended it with a song like this. Again, I thought it was a little boring, but I totally understand why they had a song like this and why they closed the album with this song.
I think if they ended this song with
you can't end it with Jigsaw falling.
yeah,
You
I
can't
think
do
you
that.
would be just
You
looking for
could
more.
if you were not Radiohead.
Yeah. It was the right choice to have
It
this
makes
song
sense.
ended. I think.
Yeah. All right, well, Jack, we know your favorite song. Let's hear your least favorite.
Honestly, I'm probably will say Videotape is my least favorite song. Again, I didn't necessarily I thought it was pretty simple.
It's my
pretty
second favorite
simplistic.
video song.
Yeah, it's
Disgusting.
disgusting. Pretty simplistic. Like you said, the weird random drum machine, I didn't really like it that much.
I didn't mind that.
Again, I totally understand why they ended it with that song, and I even think it was the right choice to end it with a song like that. But and that doesn't mean I think it's a bad song. It's just probably my least favorite.
I think my least favorite. I'll start with my least favorite. I think my least favorite was probably, Ostfarp. Is that what it's called?
Faustarp? I don't know.
I just mixed it up. Anyway,
Faustarp.
I don't think it's a bad song at all. I don't think there are any bad songs on this album. It's just for the level that I think of at this album, one of you described it as a break. It just kind of makes it not my favorite.
Fair. That's fair.
Which
That's
would
totally fair.
hence make it my least favorite.
Yeah.
I think my favorite song is probably All I Need. I really like the mellow sound of this album a lot. I think if I were to choose like a rocker and a mellow one, mine would be Jigsaw Falling Into Places for the rocker, and then All I Need for a mellow one. But I honestly think I like the mellow sound more. I just think it's very enjoyable. It sounds so well put together. It makes you feel like, what would you say, a bump on a log?
Yeah, a bug on a log.
Little
Something
bug
like
on a
that.
log.
A little floating around.
Ants on a stick.
Yeah, it's on a stick. So, my least favorite, Colin, is Faustarp. I'm with you on that. Not bad. It is kind of a break. I can see where Jack's coming from with videotape, but I like that a lot as a closer. And my favorite song is All That I Need. I'm with you. I love that song. That song is awesome. I don't know if it's my favorite. It might be my favorite Radiohead song.
That's probably my favorite Radiohead.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, maybe though.
yeah, it's just amazing. And like I said, I kind of don't expect them to write like a really simple, like almost love song from Radiohead, but they just do it so damn well. I don't know. It's just
Honorable mention for me. I really like 15 Step.
yeah.
I thought it was
15 Step.
There's a few honorable mentions.
I thought it was a really just interesting song.
I gotta throw out Body Snatchers.
Yep.
Gotta throw
Yeah,
Body
All
Snatchers
those.
in.
I honestly like House of Cards a lot. That might be my second favorite.
I like that song.
I like
too.
Weird Fishes a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah, good too.
if they didn't have that breakdown at the end, I don't know if it would be, but that part is so cool.
I think I'd still enjoy it without the break.
I would too, but I don't know if it'd be one of my favorites. So, all right, real quick, is this album underrated, overrated, or properly rated? Does it belong on a greatest albums of all time list?
I'd say it's. I don't know where it was rated.
But
if that
just
really
just
matters.
generally
I'd
speaking, I would say
say
it doesn't matter.
this is properly rated. You made it sound like, as of more recent times, it's been a pretty highly acclaimed album. People like it a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's very well deserved.
I am thinking it's either between underrated or properly rated. I'll probably go properly rated, just because the people who do talk about it love it. It's just not as popular as like OK Computer, but I think OK Computer is also a very good album in Radiohead's discography, obviously. I think it should be more maybe commercially popular, but pretty much every critic that you're going to see review this is going to say this is a fantastic album. It just didn't really catch on as much as some other albums. And by some other albums, I mean like insanely popular, like OK Computer. Didn't really catch on too much. But so I'll say it's properly rated, bordering on underrated.
I agree with that.
I would say it's properly rated. I just don't think there's any way, with the way that some people talk about this album, that it could be underrated to me.
The only
I don't think it's
way
overrated.
the only way it would be underrated is commercially. I don't think it can.
Yeah,
be
it doesn't really
critically
have any
underrated.
hits now that I think of it, but I don't
Right.
really. I'm kind of no. It's,
Like
I'd
Weird
say
Fishes
it's
was
properly
kind of
rated.
popular, but
Yes.
yeah, we'll go properly rated.
So
What's like the most popular song, I guess, on this album?
I would
know.
imagine Weird Fishes.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Maybe.
couldn't really tell you.
Maybe
Listening to it, I think
Maybe
I would have
Nude, yeah.
thought All I Need would be the most popular.
You know what? I'm going on Spotify.
Are you
So-
looking at the most played?
And while Jack does that, would you say? Yeah, Jack brought this up briefly. I was thinking about it. Would you say that Radiohead are kind of a prog band?
I don't really know, to be completely honest.
Not in
Jigsaw-
the traditional sense.
Jigsaw Falling Into Place has the most plays on Spotify,
Yeah.
but it's close between that and Weird Fishes.
Yeah.
Jigsaw has 272 million. Weird Fishes has 258.
Interesting. So did you say they were kind of prog?
So the reason I said
I agree.
the reason I said that they're prog is just by the name. The definition of the name is progressive. They really, especially with this album, I think we're trying to progress what rock could be and what popular rock could be. Like you're not gonna confuse Radiohead with Yes or Rush, even though Yes or Rush are like the definition of prog bands.
Yeah.
But if you're going by the definition of what prog means, I would say that they fall into progressive rock.
Yeah, I agree with Jack because I do think if we're being honest with ourselves, progressive rock, really what people mean is stuff from like that era and stuff.
Honestly, I
That's-
didn't know Yes was considered prog.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they're definitely
yeah.
a prog band. They're
They're
like
like
the
the
deep
prog,
prog.
yeah.
I mean, I knew like Rush was.
But yeah, I would
Genesis.
say by definition
Genesis.
they
is
are a
considered prog.
progressive rock
Uh-huh.
band. Like they progress the genre of rock.
Right.
Probably more so than a lot of other, like, 2007, you had a lot of, like, throwback kind of, like, White Stripes, Black Keys, kind of like throwback, like,
Yeah.
garage stuff. But Radiohead continually, with each release, would push the boundaries in some way, shape, or form. And they definitely did on this one. I would say less so than in the past, but still, I would say, like, just,
You
yeah.
kind of make it seem like it's a different version of them pushing the boundaries, though.
Yeah. I think it was them. And also, this was their first album since like 2003, and this was 2007, which isn't a huge break, but I think it was the longest break that they had taken up to that point. So, like,
When I think
they
of
kind of
prog,
came, it was kind of a comeback.
this is completely off topic. When I think of prog, I think it's because of Aiden. I think of like Gentle Giant. Is that like really obscure prog?
No, I mean, that's like classic, like prog rock. You know?
Okay.
But, yeah, I think, I did one fact. I want to end with our ratings out of 10, but one thing you have to mention with this album is the way it was released. Is that they released this and said, "Hey, pay what you want for this album." They were like, "Let's release this and not have a price tag because we want to have control over the cost of our music." Now, do you think that was inherently a good thing or a bad thing for the music industry?
I mean, for the music industry,
For the just like musicians,
I-
music as a whole.
I don't think that. Honestly, I'll
that
be
sounds
completely
prog.
honest.
That makes me think of prog.
I'll be completely honest. I don't think it necessarily mattered that much. I think that they probably saw that the future of music, because this came out in 2007, so there's a very big, pivot point for how we listen to music, and I think that they probably saw the future of music is online. It's either downloading it, probably at that point downloading it, but now it's streaming. So nobody really pays for music anymore. Period. I mean, you pay for $15 a month to be on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever.
People that just collect music.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Right, or yeah, people that collect music, but like the vast majority of people aren't really paying for music like they were, and I think you could start to see that happen in 2007. Again, in 2007, I was 6, so I don't remember this.
I was 2.
Yeah, this motherfucker was 2. So, but from kind of what I remember, I mean, as a 6-year-old, you don't really remember anything. You don't know what's going on, but at that point, it wasn't really. Shit was changing, and they probably saw that, and they were like, you know what, let's just get what we can out of it and see what happens from here. Because I mean, Napster was I think Napster probably had already happened at that
Yeah,
point.
definitely.
And so instead of fighting it,
What's
like
Napster?
it was like a website where you could download music for free, and then they got sued by everybody. Instead of fighting it like Metallica, and Metallica fucking ruined their reputation for a lot of people.
And they were right though.
I do agree that they were right, but whether you like it or not, whether they were right or not, they ruined their reputation for a lot of fucking people.
They also came out with the album Saint Anger, which was fucking horrible.
I mean, yeah,
So they
yeah, but like a lot of people associate Lars Ulrich with fucking suing Napster because he wasn't getting enough money, even though he was already a millionaire, which is not necessarily what happened, but that's how people see it.
But I'll
like it or
pivot
not.
off that. It's like, sure, I do think it's interesting that they did this, and to their fans at the time, it's like, this is so nice, we can pay whatever we want for this, fucking.
If you
And I'm
wanna
sure a
ask
lot
it,
of people were
to
like,
interrupt. How did that? What do you mean?
I don't
pay what
fully
they
know
want?
how it works, but that was like the thing. They were like, you choose what you want to pay for this.
It's more like kind of like a donation.
Kind of.
Because if
But I
that's-
think if it's like kind of like with Lars from Metallica, it's like, oh, you're a millionaire. Radiohead is also like, oh, well, yeah, how nice are you guys to do this? You guys already have a ton of fucking money.
Right.
How brave are you? I think this probably was like this is a huge album, this album. It didn't, like, not huge on the radio, but people bought this, this sold a lot.
Right.
So I think like them doing that, I think for like the little men had a trickle down impact, kind of like how Napster had an impact of people like not buying music. I don't buy music,
Right.
but just a little side.
I think
side thought.
the probably the worst thing that I'm thinking of right now, and I this is just off the top of my head, is like you said, the little mom and pop CD stores. They're kind of the ones that are getting screwed if I'm thinking that they're buying it from CD. I just don't know how it works.
I think
Yeah.
the CD store probably had their own fixed price, but I think it was more so from downloads that were happening at the time. Because back then
Probably,
you
yeah.
downloaded, but you did have to pay for the downloads.
So maybe they're the first people to be like, whatever. Because again, now I can listen to any song I want basically for free.
Yeah.
But yeah, to wrap this point up, I think it didn't really have an impact.
Yeah.
The music industry was headed the way it is now, whether they did it or not. So
Yeah, I think it's just an
Whatever.
interesting thing to talk about and to point out because it was a big point about this album. So, out of 10, who wants to go first? What do you give this a score out of 10?
I don't remember. Are we just doing whole numbers?
Do
I
whatever
do
you want.
halves. You can do fucking 0.3 if you want.
No, I don't.
But
do
don't do tenths. We made that a point.
Yeah, do
What,
not
like-
do
like-
9.34.
that. Oh
Yeah.
no, that's ridiculous.
That would be hundreds, by the way.
No,
Oh, yeah.
tenths is like 8.3.
Yes.
I think basing this album off of, I don't mind the fact that there aren't a ton of, I guess, hits. There are a lot of songs that are great on this album, but I really do love this album because the album as a whole just sounds so good. And I think that makes it so highly rated for me. I think as an album, I would give this like an 8.5 to a 9.
Okay. Jack, you want to go next?
I was up at night thinking about this.
This guy's a cornball.
I know that a lot of people depend on the rating that I give. Economies will fall if it's bad.
Oh my god.
Empires will be built if it's good. And boys, I have to do it. I'm giving this album a 10. I really, really like this album a lot. Even its low points, still was a sound that I really enjoyed. And the high points changed my life. So it's only happened a few times on my guest spot on the Liam Huser channel, which Liam, once again, I cannot thank you enough for having me on your channel all these years.
Yes, of course.
It's only happened a few times that I give an album 10, and in Rainbows it gets a 10. 10
Yeah.
out of 10 from Jack Jump.
I'll keep it simple. I'm gonna give this a 10 too.
That's my boy right
Yeah,
there.
there's not if this isn't a 10, then what is? I mean, yeah, like
Yeah.
not every song is perfect, but like as a whole piece of art, no complaints. I mean,
No skips.
it might be my favorite Radiohead album now, to be honest with you. Might be one of my favorite like rock albums now.
I'm going to listen to this album again.
Yeah, I definitely
I,
will.
100% will. I might
Now,
listen to
I do
more
think
Radiohead
like
because of
whatever
this.
Radiohead
Yeah, I will
album
too.
comes next will then probably be my favorite Radiohead album because they're just one of those bands where they have a lot of albums I like a lot. So yeah, but yeah, join us. Thank you guys for watching the video. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Next album we're doing is an album called Forever Changes by the band Love. So I've never heard this one. I don't think these guys have either.
Nope.
So
Don't know if I know a song by
I've never even heard of him.
tune in next
I
week.
think you're lying. Do I know any